My people, this campaign, they took us to another level. The campaign of Peter Obi, now another level they take us go now. Because you get waiting at the year today about Tinubu supporter calling out about the fundraising where Peter Obi they raise. They think they cause trouble for social media. They can't cause trouble for inside Abodo Nigeria. INEC itself they get involved for the matter. So the country will be say we never hear before since they don't do campaign and all that. This Peter Obi, everything come begin just come out. The thing they surprise me. But what will happen now? Say I don't want to waste my time. I want to make una watch this video. Give me your personal opinion about this video we want to watch. Listen to what they talk. This argument, if it didn't necessarily to argue this matter, to even talk out at all about this campaign, how they go. So watch the video. I beg, if you know so you never subscribe, I beg, just follow me, hit the button when say subscribe. If you don't already subscribe before, I say thank you. Now God bless you now for me. Please, if you watch this video finish, don't forget to leave your comment for the comment section. Tell me what you think about this video, and I will see you next time.
A candidate or an aspirant from receiving or bringing any money from abroad. What the section says specifically is that any political party prohibits political parties from bringing money from abroad and sanctions them if they do that. The Electoral Act now sanctions those people if any political party and officers of the party who is complicit in receiving money from abroad. So if Peter Obi is raising money from abroad, or any candidate for that matter, technically speaking, the law does not forbid it, because you know the Constitution itself says for you to punish anybody for contravening the law, there must be a written law known, published, gazetted by the state. Now, there is no law prohibiting individuals from receiving money from abroad. There is the Constitution, the ground norm, the supreme law of the land, which prohibits political parties from receiving monies from abroad. So that distinction must be drawn.
Well, that is very interesting, because what you're saying is that there is a sort of legal dichotomy that between the candidate and the party in terms of raising funds.
That's correct.
So the candidate can go ahead, and is there a limit on what the candidate can raise abroad?
Well, there's no limit to the amount of money a candidate can raise domestically or abroad.
So technically, the $150 million is being talked about.
I was going to qualify that. Okay. I was going to qualify that. Your question was received, raised, but there is a limit to how much any candidate can spend.
Okay, I see what you mean.
There is no limit to how much a person can receive, but there's, although there are limits to how much individuals can donate to any candidate, but there's no limit to how much in total, in summary, that he can receive. But there is a limit to how much he can expend for the election. That is starting from the day of notice of polls, which is given 365 days before the time, up to election day. So any money you spend as an aspirant prior to that time doesn't come into reckoning in computation of how much you can spend. But the Electoral Act says this is the period for computing how much you can spend.
So once the campaign season begins, basically.
Well, yes. If you say, some people think the campaign season begins with campaigns or with primaries, but for our purposes, the campaign season for this purpose begins from the date that notice of election is given by the
in this case, September the 28th.
No, on the contrary, 365 February after the election was February. 360 days to the election.
300. I just wanted to clarify that point. So this has always been the law, as you said, since 1999, because I mean we've seen adverts from various parties in the past calling for people abroad. I mean it's easily available on the internet to donate, fairly large sums of money. Has it been more a case of implementation and enforcement? Because you're saying that the law has always been there.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, had you you were the legal sort of person, at INEC. Had you come across that, between that sort of 1999 up to when you left the place?
Yes, I was director of legal in 2007 up to about 2009. No, we did not really come across that. Recently, I've come across things dating back to 2014 and things like that. Now, there are two issues here. One is proof. One is allegations, and the second one is proof. I saw something on the internet. I've not been able to verify that personally, but political parties especially asking their UK chapters, their foreign chapters to raise money and remit, canvassing for people to remit money to particular accounts. Now, the interesting thing is that the law, Constitution itself, 225 says receiving money from abroad, receiving. And I'm aware, I don't know how legal some of those chapters are. I'm aware that most political parties or major political parties have branches abroad. Now, I guess you could raise money and expend it over there and running your affairs over there, but you cannot bring it into the country.
Right.
So there's no basis to disqualify any candidate. It talks about the political party raising funds from outside the country. Like I said, the candidate is not barred in any way from raising funds from outside Nigeria. But the political party is. Okay? That's what the Constitution says, and that's what the Electoral Act says. No mention is made of the candidate. You can read section 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, and 90. Now, where the regulations that are seen in respect of the candidate comes into how much they can spend for elections, how much the president cannot spend more than 5 billion, and all that. The governor cannot spend, governorship candidate cannot spend more than 2 billion. That's what the law says. We shouldn't go beyond the law. And talking about bringing in a disqualification on that ground for a candidate when the law does not say so, I don't think it is correct. If we are not satisfied with the law, we should do what is needful. Take steps to ensure that there's an amendment of the law. The Electoral Act is just still fresh. Section 152, like I stated, does not define a candidate to include a political party. And it does not define a political party to include its candidate. So that is the position of the law as we speak. So if a call can be made, but it won't go beyond that call, because it is not backed up by law, in my opinion. The law is very clear. The party cannot, but the candidate is not precluded.
Will it be correct to infer that the presidential candidate of the Labour Party setting up a diaspora committee to do crowdfunding has not violated any law? Is that what you're saying categorically? Because as you said, Section 225...
As Labour Party, yes, 225 doesn't say, say anything about the candidate. I've made that point very clear. It doesn't say anything about any candidate. And I also, you have to read this in a communal and community way. You have to read it purposively. When you read 225 of the Constitution, both 225A that came from the 4th alteration and 225 itself, and then Section 85 of the Electoral Act, along with Section 152 of the Electoral Act, then you get a clear picture. Now, when you read 85, 86, 87 to 90, where a candidate is intended by the law, it says a presidential candidate shall not spend more than 50 million. It calls the candidate. Now, any presidential candidate, any candidate for whatever, is not precluded from raising funds from outside Nigeria by the law as it is today. But the political party sponsoring him cannot. So if Mr. P2B is raising it as Labour Party, that is an offense. That is not correct. That is wrong. But if he's as an individual, there may be other laws to talk about, but not the Electoral Act, not the Constitution.